All right, welcome back to another episode of Beer, Bacon, and Blows. As you can tell, we're missing half the cast, so it's Adam. You got Chris here with you this evening, and coming on, was it 2 days before the NBA Finals start?
Tomorrow, yeah. June 1st.
So, Denver Nuggets, Miami Heat. Big Heat fan over here, Chris is.
Yeah.
But before we jump into that, subscribe to the page, like the video, leave us a comment on who you think's gonna win. And like I said, let's jump into it. I'll let you kick it off. Being the Heat fan that you are, how do you feel right now that they 8 seed out of the Eastern Conference?
8 seed, yeah. Could be the what I consider the lowest, but what they actually classify as the highest seed ever to win an NBA championship. So 6 seed. I think the Pistons won in the 90s as a 6 seed. I can't confirm it as the Pistons, but I know that it was a 6 seed as the highest. So chance to do it. Super excited about the team. Love the team. It's been such a roller coaster year.
I would say, did you think the Heat would be in a position to even win a championship?
Preseason, yes. Preseason, I looked at this team and I said, okay, we got Jimmy Butler, we got Bam Adebayo, we got Tyler Hero. We got some key pieces around them. Kyle Lowry brings a veteran point guard.
Duncan Robinson off the bench.
Mark Strus. Like I'm never going to tell you that I thought Caleb Martin could play as good as he's played. But
he's looked great. At least in the last series against Boston. Was it 15 averaged or 15 or better?
15, yeah. So
awesome, good for him.
He's a solid small forward that is smaller in size, but can play well with a 4. He can play well with a power forward down low, even though he's only 6'5". But preseason, middle of the season, absolutely not. Like
did not look good.
It looked good. Yeah, it didn't look good. It's not in the way where you be like, all right, we had a bunch of injuries, that's why we're not performing well. It's just we were not performing well.
Yeah, your guys did not show up to play like you thought they should be playing.
Yeah, so
but figured something out, got it together towards the end of the year, make a run there at the end of the year to get the 8 seed. No, win the play-in game. What?
No, we lost our first playing game, won the second playing game, got the better seed where we didn't have to face Boston early. We ended up facing Milwaukee. Now I shouldn't have said that's better, but we ended up facing Milwaukee.
He got number 1 seed Milwaukee and beat them in the first round.
Yeah, beat them. I thought the Knicks were a little bit easier of an opponent. Still a super young team. I still think the Knicks will be very good over the next 5 years. And then Boston, I was on cloud 9 the first 3 games. Definitely not on cloud 9 the final 3 games.
Sweating it games 5 and 6.
I came into game 7 fully prepared to lose. I came into game
watching what happened, the heartbreak in game 6.
Yep.
I was thinking like this is them going back home. This is what Boston needed to win at home. I'm glad to see the Heat. Not that I'm saying I'm a Heat fan, but I've never disliked the Heat. The only time I disliked the Heat was when Dallas beat them in 2011.
Yeah.
So other than that, I've never I've liked watching D Wade and I like watching those guys play in Miami. Yeah. So I've always been kind of I would like to see them do well.
Yeah. I don't feel like, of course I want Miami to win. But, there's moments when your teams are playing in a championship and you just absolutely fucking hate the other team that they're playing. And I don't feel that way about the Denver Nuggets. Like, it'd be cool for the Denver Nuggets to finally win a championship.
Oh, yeah.
But I, of course, as a Miami Heat fan, want Miami to win.
And I don't know, Denver, I think there's an aspect of their game in a foreign guy named Jokic that I don't know how y'all are going to be able to handle.
Yeah.
There's no reason he could average a triple-double every game.
He could average 50 and 20 every game. Like I think he's so good and he's in such a position. Like I really respect what the Lakers did against him in their series in the Western Conference Finals. Even though the Lakers lost and got swept, Anthony Davis and company actually played well against Jokic to where Jamal Murray had to be the guy
to beat them.
Yeah. I only think the only way that Miami does this is they flip the script basically, and they let Jokic have what he wants, but they have to stop Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray is the better player in the postseason right now than Nikola Jokic. So Like you have to actually be able to keep Jamal Murray to like a 15 points per game
I would say
situation.
if you're willing to give up 40 to Jokic, shut down everybody else.
Yeah.
Just like you said, I agree. You got to be willing. I can't have two guys go for 35.
Yeah, I mean,
I got to be like, all right, I'm fine with giving 40 to one guy and keep another guy under 20.
yeah. And I think the great thing that Miami has done so far in the postseason that actually gives them a little bit of chance. Obviously, Jimmy Butler has been the best player on our team and honestly the best player on the floor the entire first three series. But
Yeah.
our team is very, very deep. Marcus Strauss, Tyler Hero is now going to have a possibility of coming off the bench. Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin, Bam Adebayo, Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson. All these people are actually participating, and in any moment we have somebody that can score the basketball.
I'd say giving you meaningful minutes and giving you meaningful points.
Yeah, and it's been such a great rotation. Now we got tired, I think, games 5 and 6, in my opinion, in this Eastern Conference Finals, where it did finally start to catch up with us. But I do think that's an advantage that Miami has is at any point of the game, the five that we have on the floor can hang with anybody, even with the eliteness of Jokic and Murray. So
like I said, I think the only thing that's going to hinder you is Bam's what 6'9".
But he's not physical enough. Bam's not physical enough to take on Nikola Jokic.
But I think that's where it's going to hurt you the most is you and. I mean, I hate to say small ball, but that's what they are. Mm-hmm. In today's world where your centers are 6'10 plus, and your center Bam is 6'8", 6'9".
Yep.
And
it's going to be. I think the interesting part that I'm looking forward to. We didn't play Cody Zeller and Kevin Love a lot in the final 3 games of the Boston series. Just because Bam and Butler were kind of like tall enough to hang with what we were doing, and Duncan Robinson's also 6'7", so like they were tall enough.
Hang with Robert Williams, who's I think 6'9".
Robert Williams gets gassed after 2 up and downs to the floor. Like he's I'm not worried about.
But I mean that was their big man, you know.
Yeah, and then Al Horford, of course,
is
40. Also exactly. He's 6'10", but he's 40. So I think you'll see a lot more of Kevin Love and Cody Zeller in this series trying to defend Jokic. Less of Bam trying to defend him, actually. So I think the part where Miami will get in trouble is if we try and match up Bam versus Jokic, he's going to get in foul trouble very quickly, and that's going to take an asset off the floor from us when it comes to a scoring perspective. Mm-hmm. So Bam right now is playing well enough. I would like to see him be a little more aggressive defensively outside of Jokic. Like, can he be a big enough presence rebounding and blocking wise? Because they're a big team. I mean, you know, you have to say Michael Porter Jr. is tall. I know that Aaron Gordon is probably
another physical body.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to bet both those two guys are probably 6'9" or better. So Gordon's 6'8" and Michael Porter Jr. 6'10". So they're going to have the height advantage for sure.
So I think that's the only thing that's going to hurt Miami in the long run is they have been a small ball team all year.
Yeah. And
it's because your biggest guy who's the most productive on the floor is Bam, it's 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah.
And I think that's the length is going to play in Denver's favor. I think either offensive rebounds, defensively, and I think that's where they really need to limit it. Second chance points for Denver need to be kept to a minimum if you want to stay close, I think, in this series.
Yeah. I'm willing to bet that Caldwell Pope is probably going to be the main person guarding Jimmy Butler, and I'm kind of curious about that matchup a little bit. If I was Denver, that's who I'd want to be matching up with Butler. I think he's their best perimeter defender, and at 6'5", has the size to hang with Butler at 6'7".
That on-ball defender,
yeah. And so I'm kind of curious about that. I think the big advantage for Miami, and it's got to be the games that Miami's going to win in this series, they're going to outshoot Denver, and they're going to shoot a high clip from 3 as well, because I do think that's an advantage. If you get a healthy enough Tyler Hero back, obviously Duncan Robinson's a good shooter, Marcus Strauss is a good shooter, Kyle Lowry at times could be a good shooter, so I think that is going to be the thing about Miami is can they shoot, can they make their shots from the perimeter, and
I would say it's almost you're going to have to live and die by the 3 ball almost, because again, can't drive it home enough. You're not going to be able to live in the paint on this team.
No, and there's really not anybody outside of Bam on our team that tries to live in the paint. I think Jimmy's a slasher still. He's still one of those, elite players that likes to drive to the basket. But I don't see us dropping the ball on the low block and trying to, a little shimmy and something on Jokic. So it's just not going to happen.
So, so putting your fan aside here, who do you actually think wins here, Miami or Denver?
Yeah, I mean, I saw a percentage this morning. It was 92% of America's taking Denver to beat Miami. I understand that, so I'm gonna give Miami a shot here. I'm gonna say Denver wins in 7. I think the NBA is scripted enough to get a 7-game series out of this for television revenue.
Yeah, I think Denver wins, and I think it's Denver in 6. I think you have a really good, games 2 and 3. I think Denver takes 1 at home. Miami sneaks 1 out, maybe a close 1 at home, wins 1 at home, then probably gets blown out 3 and 4 because you're tied, and then you go back because they prove they can win on the road.
Miami, that is the thing that has given Miami a little bit of hope. Is they were no better at home than they were on the road, and that has actually really played well for them in the postseason.
So I think that's going to be the biggest issue is that there's going to be 1 or 2 lopsided games, but I think for the most part here, I think Denver does walk away with it, but I think it's Denver in 6.
Okay. So. All right, hit us in the comments. Let us know who you think's winning the NBA Finals. As always, we appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe.